Hi, this is Mark Soden for Wonder Valley Experimental number 16. I'm here with Paul Angelosanto from Static Apparitions.
Hello, I am in Weirdfield, Mass. Weirdfield is a strange little town pocketed between many other suburban towns. Technically 15 minutes outside of Boston, but in reality, probably about an hour outside of Boston.
An hour by traffic.
An hour by traffic, yes,
Yes,
or any other commuting means.
amazing. The way we tell time.
Yes.
So traditionally, we go through the whole origin story thing in these interviews, but we've already done that. We've done that interview. So I wanted to talk a little bit about something that you did at Wonder Valley 15. You and Deb came out and performed for us at Wonder Valley 15 at the Palms, and you recorded it. And you have a release with that. Could you tell us a little bit about your release and the process that you used? You have two distinct sides to this release.
Yes, certainly, thank you. The release is called Desert Winds or Desert Wind, excuse me. And how we just recorded it live as it happened. And the first part is a really almost unedited, raw as possibly could be version of the original recording. There's very little, I just trimmed a little at the beginning and a little at the end. So it's really kind of what it sounded like, probably more like what it sounded on stage than what it sounded like in the audience. Um, then since of course it was only about close to 20 minutes of time, and there's plenty of time on a CD, I didn't just want to put a 20-minute track out. I wanted to put a full album out. So I took the track and then started thinking out, okay, well, what could I add to this? What if this was actually just a studio recording instead of a live recording? So I mixed in different recordings we had to it and also took the file itself and doubled it, tripled it, quadrupled it, and then started running different effects on it, seeing, well, how does this make it sound? And then I also started cutting it and putting little bits and pieces of it over and over again. So if you really listen carefully, Mark, you can actually hear your voice a couple of times in it saying the stuff you did when you introduced us.
I recognized me. Uh,
It's always good to recognize yourself. Nice.
but the interesting thing was the way the second half really seemed like uh, almost like you're improvising with yourself by just moving your own pieces around. It was inspiring. I really like that.
Well, thank you. Yeah,
So
go ahead.
I was just going to ask on a different note. I recollect that a couple weeks ago that you and a number of other people got together to do a live stream from the Boston area, I'm assuming. And I saw that, and it was very interesting. Quite, quite an interesting aggregation of people and sounds. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. Those are all take place at Evil Clown headquarters, which is indeed in Massachusetts. And that's run by David Peck. And David has been doing this for a long time with different ensembles. And we got to do one of these with them, a couple of these with them last year. But now he's built a whole band around doing it with these particular people. And I gotta say, it's really interesting, especially it was really exciting too because there were two people there I never even met, let alone performed with. And we all just got in sync, I feel, pretty quickly, because David actually seemed to instinctively know who would work best with what we were all doing. And, we all had a good time. I think the main purpose to me is for us to have fun. And if we're having fun, that projects outwards.
Is that performance still on YouTube?
Yes, the performance will permanently be on YouTube and it's on Bandcamp as well. And actually, the audio has been tweaked. There's actually a better audio version on YouTube, as well as the original version, which was streamed live. And it's up on Bandcamp as well, and CDs will be out eventually too. It's all run through Evil Clown headquarters on their page on Bandcamp.
Awesome. So there's one other thing I wanted to touch on in this interview, and that is you and Deb tr travel around and find really interesting sonic places. And and then you go there and you record. Could you tell us about how long you've been doing this and what sort of how you find these places?
Sure. The intrigue and the idea of doing it went back to maybe 2015 or maybe even earlier when we went on a photography class to Fort Warren. And while we were, Deb was taking all these pictures and I was just kind of along for the ride. And I was looking around, I was realizing, well, wait a minute, this place sounds really incredible. And I would just dropped a rock and I listened to the reverb inside the place. And I thought, wow, really, we should be recording in here. And so that was kind of getting the idea of trying to start recording in these different places. Finding them is difficult. We search out on the internet, and sometimes the places we go to, which seem like they would be great, aren't. For example, there's a cave maybe 15, not even 10 minutes from here. And we are all excited about that. And we got in there and the sound was just flat. It was dead flat. I've never been in a room that sounded less impressive than this cave. So we do strike out from time to time, but when we find a really good space, it's perfect. And we just like to keep going back there. Like Echo Bridge particularly is perfect. There's that it just the natural ambience just really drives those recordings.
Indeed, those it's really kind of inspiring to see the places that you find. And I know that some of your associates have used a railroad tunnel that was abandoned, and it's just interesting to me that you can find these places and you're sensitive to that environmental factor.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's funny you should mention the railroad tunnel. We were talking about doing a big recording out there later this year, but it's actually been purchased by the town and they're kind of changing it, making it part of a rail trail. So I don't know if the same sound is going to be there. We're gonna when it gets reopened, we are going to check it out, but I just get the feeling from everything they were talking about that where they're shaving the contours inside and everything, a lot of that sound's probably going to be lost. And sometimes too, when we go to a space, it's not even about the sound. Like when we were in Wonder Valley, we did a lot of recording out in the desert, and that was there just, I mean, there wasn't a lot of natural reverb or anything like that because we're out in a flat area. But there it was all about getting the inspiration. There was just a lot of inspiration from the land. I find the desert very inspiring now.
Well, one thing I've noticed is that it's a different sound when it's really hot.
I'm sure.
It's intriguing. It seems like a really good way to find things that you don't expect, and
Hmm.
to get out and look for things that make good sound or places that make good sound, and then
Right.
you use them.
Yeah, or places that inspire you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, what do you have planned for 2024?
Well, right now we're working on the video for the Wonder Valley Virtual Festival, which I'm very excited about. It's going to be very different from any of the past videos that we've submitted. I hope you're gonna like it. We tried something really different. We spent New Year's Eve recording the audio for it. Um, and so that was a lot of fun. And I actually have one of the instruments. I don't know if you want me to talk about
Oh,
that.
absolutely. Please.
Yeah. What I have here is a genometer, which is a signal generator that I got at a vintage electronics show. And it makes some really incredible sounds. And if you run those sounds through effects pedals, you're getting even more amazing sounds.
Wow, that's great. I can't wait
Yeah.
to hear that.
Yeah. So yeah, we did a whole big series of jams on New Year's Eve, and then we cut them all together, and that's gonna be the soundtrack. I'm very excited about this video.
Very cool.
I
All
don't want to
right.
say too much more about it.
Well, yeah, we don't want spoilers.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I'd just like to say good luck to everyone on the virtual festival and the live festival. And I'm looking forward to seeing all the results of the virtual festival. And thanks for this opportunity. I appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. This is Mark Soden for Wonder Valley Experimental 16 Virtual Edition, signing off.